Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today's topic is children and how they play a major role in our everyday lives. From the beginning, when a child is born, we all have to remind ourselves that yes, you carried the child for 9 months. It belongs to you and your partner. At that point, you are the creators. Once the child is born, it is up to us as the caretaker, the parent, to nurture that child to the point of the child displaying its own independence and its own discernment. That's when the detachment becomes evident, or should become evident to us, that we are simply the caretakers. They do not belong to us per se, even though they are part of our DNA. You created them. Ultimately, the child at that point belongs to the universe, and it's part of the grand scheme of what the universe has planned for us and their future.
Biologically speaking, they are your children, but their spirit belongs to the universe. Their spirit is an embodiment of the universe. They contain the entire universe within them, and all of their lessons that they came here to learn is embodied in their spirit. It is ultimately our job as parents and even as caretakers, whether you're an aunt or uncle, to not interfere with that child's life path. You can try to steer them morally, especially at a younger age when they're learning right from wrong, but also understand that our interpretation of right and wrong is biased according to our human belief system that we are expressing at that moment.
When the universe blesses us with a child, this child has a purpose, just like you, just like all of us. We all have a purpose to serve the universe. The children are a great reflection of who we are. And through a channeling state at one point, it was revealed to us from Karmikal that our children are a reflection of us in many forms and greatly project out our future selves through them. What the universe means is that the nurturing that we give this child unbiasedly, without any dogma, you'll be surprised at how this child evolves quite rapidly versus someone that is in the mindset of instilling dogma thoughts, dogma practices.
As we all know, up until a certain age, children, they learn through mimicking. They're learning from you. They're a reflection of you. Yes, we do need to protect them up until a certain age, but ultimately you want to teach them or help them to grow independent and learn for themselves how to use discernment. It's all about growing and learning. And even as adults, we're still growing and learning.
The growth spurts are precisely designed by the universe like a blueprint to get that child to a point in life, usually between 7 and 8, possibly 9 and 10, in that time frame, to instill upon them their own discernment. They have learned so much at that point where they can start deciding for themselves what's right and what's wrong, what's good for them and what's not.
Just like an adult, what helps a child is to have a very well-rounded experience. So not being sheltered from the world, but being able to experience it according to their development phase. So consider the activities that you do with your children, and this again can apply to nieces and nephews too, or people that caretake for children. Consider how you express your emotions. Consider the language you use. And I'm not necessarily talking about swearing either. How you use the word love, how you use the word hate. Do you use it carelessly or do you mean it? How do you express yourself in front of that child because they are absorbing and mimicking this for the first so many years of their life?
Up until a certain age, most of the growth that the child experiences, mind, body, and spirit, is all about the teachings that coming from the parent or parents. Then at the point where they are more active socially, getting out into the community with the parents, it's up to us as observers to continue that growth pattern with them in a positive sense, with the understanding that each child that is out there is a child of the universe and a gift from the universe, and that we should all appreciate what they have to bring to the earth on their path for positive change.
Part of this has to do with not pushing agendas on your kids, and we're not talking about religion and spirituality now. We're talking about your child likes art or they love music. They may not be the next Leonardo da Vinci, but they may find their own niche.
It's all about passion, and the universe has instilled a path, a contract that each one of us, when we were born, signed to come into this life. Well, so do the children that are the newborns that are continuing to be birthed into this world around us. They're all under contract. They all have a path that they signed up for. So it's very important for us as adults to understand this, that this is a connection, a universal connection with this child on their path. So wouldn't it be better to encourage the child no matter what, their beliefs, their understandings of themselves at any given point, any given age, to encourage them to embrace their passions, embrace their dreams, and let them run with it without discouraging them of past experience that we have upon them. Let them learn on their own.
Just because you have had an experience of a certain thing does not mean your child will experience that same outcome. An important thing, of course, in a child's development is education. So think about the school. How much time does your child get to play? Especially below a certain age. How much time do they get to play? Because when they're playing, they're using their imagination. How much physical activity does your child get at school? How much art do they get at school? Again, imagination, creativity. But most of your leaders, we'll say leaders, have an intense creative force. And the way you can nurture that is through open, free play, art, music, things of that nature, cooking, any form of self-expression. Yes, they do need to learn basics like math, reading, history. Any school, whether public, private, charter, or homeschool, should embrace so much more of encouraging the child to use their imagination, to express themselves freely, because this is how they're going to find out who they are. And that is far more valuable than getting a perfect score on an ACT.
For most of our listeners out there, we do understand that most of you have heard the term Indigo Child or Indigo Children before. And this is a term that was coined by a channeler from the West Coast that is still channeling today. And the term Indigo Child basically means that a child is born into this world without bias, without any reserve regarding their path, and they come in with a gusto. The majority of the Indigo children have a memory of their past that greatly reflect who we are today. So basically, who you are today, you're a hybrid of your former self from past lives. So if you can imagine an Indigo child being born today, coming in with all of the knowledge that they had from past lives, most of what we have to teach them, they have learned many times before. So what we always like to emphasize is that giving the new children being born into this world a chance to thrive, continue to thrive without any bias on our part, because teaching them old habits, old traditions that we learned, that were taught to us, no longer are applicable to them. They know this, and they'll have a hard time trying to discern and digest what we're trying to teach them if it does not resonate with them. And we're all at various states of growth and evolvement and maturity. And as a child of the universe, each and every one of us were gifted a spirit guide and an archangel that follows us through the birthing process onto our life path and helps to guide us, to keep us grounded and spiritually awake, listening to their guidance. And so much of what the world has to offer children today is distracting them from that connection, bringing them to a point of exhaustion mentally.
Our society, especially American society, is structured now in such a way that we have created an endless amount of distractions and things that hypnotize us. So as an example, when you watch a TV show or a movie, you have to realize the state of mind that puts you into, and it also puts your child into that same state of mind. It literally changes your brain frequency, and that's a subject for another time.
We all need to remember as adults that, especially nowadays, in the times that we're living, our children are our best resource for our personal evolvement and the evolvement of humanity around the world. Times are changing, and it's been said, it's been revealed that the most important times are right ahead of us. Mid-2020 to mid-2025, spiritually speaking, there's supposed to be some revelations that are going to be undeniable, but are going to be assisting us, boosting us up to the next level of consciousness. And by all means, the children that are being born in today and the children that are around us are going to be part of that process. As long as we pay attention to them, listen to them, try to communicate with them on a more spiritual level that's in tune with our higher selves and the universe.
We encourage you to get your children and yourself involved in meditation groups, yoga practices, or anything that is going to help their spiritual development so that they can truly develop into their higher self.
Here at Karmik Channels, we offer intuitive development classes not only for the adults, but also for our youth who are at a point of knowing that they have some special gift, and we teach them how to develop that with the permission of their parent in order to help them on their path going forward. That brings us to the end of this topic. We believe there was a lot of information that we shared with you. If you have any other questions regarding this topic of children, please reach out to us through email at contact@karmikchannels.org and let us know what your thoughts and beliefs are and how we can further assist you in the development for someone young that you may know in your life. Thank you.